I know for a fact that you have so many strengths that most people don't recognize, most people don't see. And in fact, you may not be aware of all the great strengths that you have in so many areas. But that's not what I'm focusing on today. I want to talk about your weaknesses. And very often people don't recognize their own weaknesses. I've talked to some people even today, say, well, tell me what your weaknesses are. And I say, well, I have to think about that. Believe me, you have a lot of weaknesses, and so do I. I know that you eat foods that you know are bad for you. You know it's going to raise your blood sugar. You know it's not good for your blood pressure. You know it's not good for your blood sugar. And you eat it anyway. Out of weakness. You just couldn't resist it. I know. Been there. But there are times myself. Not often. I know many of you feel, well, I should stop drinking. I know it's not good for me. I know I won't regret if I stop. I will regret if I don't. And you stop. 2 weeks later, you're stressed out about something, you drink again, knowing that you shouldn't be drinking. Weakness. Weakness. I know many of you have smoked in your life. You can meet people who smoke, either you are smoking or you know somebody who's smoking, and they know it's killing them. Right, I think causes cancer, causes so many diseases. People just can't stop. Just can't stop doing it. You have people who value honesty. You value honesty. But how many times have we cheated on a tax return? How many times did we get too much change at a store and didn't give it back? Where we put money before honor. Our value is to put honor before money and didn't do it. I know that you value humility. You don't value arrogance. You don't value being egotistical. How often do we fail in terms of manifesting arrogance, manifesting superiority, which is against our own value system, because we really value being humble. It happens all the time. I know you want to be sensitive to people's feelings, but how often have you hurt somebody's feelings? I'm sure your supervisors, your managers, they want to be kind, decent people, but how often have you felt hurt, humiliated, put down by a supervisor? And that's somebody also who probably wants to be fair, who wants to be a good person, but he just can't help himself. He overreacts. I know every one of us have one major weakness. We overreact. When smoke comes up, we overreact. That's a weakness. We know that we don't want to be doing that, and we overreact. Overreacting is a weakness. Waste of our energy, a waste of time, and we cause damage to ourselves. We cause damage to those around us when we're overreacting. There are people, nice people, decent people. Many of you, somebody cuts you off on the road, you start beeping your horn, screaming, maybe flip them off, and you're a good person. Well, this is against your whole value system because you're a kind person, you're a decent person, and here you are flipping somebody off, cursing them out. You don't even know who they are. I know that 53% of you do that because we did a study of 1,800 people. We found that 53% of Americans have road rage at least twice a year. And that's not part of your value system. It's a weakness. So I shouldn't be doing that. Well, one thing can get you killed. Somebody may shoot you or ram you or do whatever, stalk you, crash their car on you to get you. You're doing it. It's a weakness. I know you don't want to put money before honor. We do. That's a weakness. I know you don't want to put pride before honor. I know you do. We do. It's a weakness. You don't want to put sex before honor, but how often have people had sex with somebody they shouldn't be having sex with. Could be, a boyfriend or husband of somebody you know, or a girlfriend of somebody you know, or you're married and you're doing this, or even just flirting, and you shouldn't be doing that, or you're putting that lustful sexual feeling before honor. That's a weakness. You shouldn't be doing this. But this is what's going on. You value peace. You want to be at peace with everybody. You want to be at peace with yourself. But look how often you get angry, annoyed, irritated, resentful. That's a weakness. It's human, but it's a weakness. So these are weaknesses. The weakness could be a moral weakness of character. Could be a weakness where you're damaging your health. Drinking, smoking, eating foods you shouldn't have. Could be a weakness for a relationship where you're overreacting, getting angry. Could be a weakness in thoughts. You're getting thoughts, negative thoughts that you don't want to have, but you're having. You could be very aggressive thoughts, maybe very sexual thoughts, whatever, but you feel I shouldn't be having it. You have that weakness. This is normal. This is what people go through. These are the weaknesses. I'm just laying out some of them that I know you have. I have certain ones myself and different ones at different times in my life. I'm going to tell you the cause of all these weaknesses. I'm going to use an example of smoking. Let's say a guy's been smoking 20 years. Very hard to put down the cigarettes. But he pays a mafia guy to follow him around with a 45 pointed at his head. So as he so much as touches a cigarette, he knows for certain that Tony, who's right there, is going to blow his brains out. No doubt about it. He knows for certain Tony will blow his brains out if he so much as touches a cigarette, much less what he'll get to smoke it. Touches it, he's dead. Brains all over the place. And he knows he can't say, hey, Tony, go get me a pizza. And then lights up. No, Tony's not going to go get that pizza. And he goes in a stall, is sitting on the toilet. He knows Tony's right there with a 45, so if he lights up in the toilet, Tony's going to blow his brains out. That's what he's paid to do. Well, let me tell you what happens. He will not smoke a cigarette, but let me take you further. He will not take a cigarette. He won't touch a cigarette. And you know what else? He won't even be tempted to have a cigarette. Won't be tempted. He's not going, I have that cigarette. No. Why? Because he's convinced 100%, not 99%, 100% that Tony will blow his brains out. No desire at all. So, the source of all these weaknesses is temptation, where the wrongdoing is a possibility. I could do this. I could do that. Oh, I could pull that off. That thought creates the temptation. Whereas if there's no way, Tony will blow my brains out with a 45 if I do that, you're not going to be tempted. So all of these weaknesses stem from the same common denominator, where there's a temptation, because in your mind there's a possibility you could do it and get away with it. You could do it and get away with it. That's the source of all weakness. And there's only temptation because you think you could do something and get away with it, whether it's stealing or sexual activity or smoking or whatever it is. You think you could do it and get away with it. So it's a temptation. But if you knew for certain you could get your brains blown out instantly, no temptation, end of the weakness. Now you understand the source of weakness. Now, so I'm going to do then, the title of today's presentation is Best Way to Deal with Your Weaknesses. Best ways to deal with your weaknesses. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. I've been in practice for over 50 years as a clinical psychologist. I'm over 84 years of age, so I like to say I finally know what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you these things that nobody ever told me. It's not like I studied this in a book, whatever. I get these inspirations, and I share them with you. And it's a great pleasure for me to share it with you, a great privilege to be able to tell you these things. It had so much meaning to my life to have this time together. Now, Let's say, I'm going to give you some ways to deal with it. Let's say you smoke or you're drinking, because that's an easy one to talk about, and you know you should stop. I don't tell people just stop. If you can, stop. A lot of people are not able to do that or not willing to do it. Whether using drugs, alcohol, whatever the substance is. So I say to them, okay, I'm not going to ask you to stop that. I know that I can't get you to stop. Let's see if we can bring honor into that. You can say, well, I'm smoking. You make a plan. You say, well, I tell people, I know you'll stop that smoking when you're ready. You're smoking 2 packs a day. Maybe you cut it down to 1 pack a day. Is that doable? Well, he says, no, I've been smoking 30 years. Okay, I understand. Not going to try to talk you out of it. Can you do a pack and a half? Well, I think I can do a pack and a half. Okay. When you're ready, you're going to stop. I'm not going to focus on that, but you at least have a plan. And honor demands that you take care of your health, because you get a stroke, you get a heart attack, so many illnesses from the smoking. You become a burden to your loved ones, to society, to the hospitals. So honor demands you take care of your health. Now, I'm defining honor as loyalty to your highest constructive values as enshrined in what I call the 4 commands of honor, while striving to cause no harm physically and emotionally. So to live an honorable life means you do what you can not to hurt others, and you do what you can not to harm yourself. To cause no harm is part of the way of honor, one of the demands of honor, part of the definition of honor. I want to also mention that this is lecture 1001. So you bring honor into this. Let's say a person has some kind of cheating in business, was getting money, taking advantage of the government, taking advantage of the customers, whatever. He says, well, I want to put honor before pride, honor before money. But my boss in the industry I'm in, they want me to do this to increase their profit margin. I'll get fired if I don't do it. And I've got a mortgage to pay. I've got children I'm raising. I can't just stop. So I've got to keep doing these things and sell the customer something that he doesn't need. But the company demands I do it. So it's not honorable. And I know many people that have been in that situation. So you have a plan. You say, well, I'm going to start looking for another job and make a plan, because I want to put honor before money. I'll make a plan, and I'm going to start looking for another job. I'm not going to just quit all of a sudden and starve and not be able to pay my bills. You're not going to put yourself out on the streets suddenly. No, you're still going on. You're still doing wrong. We should have a plan to reduce that. So you start looking around, sending out resumes. At least you have a plan to try to correct the situation, to bring honor into your life that you want, because you want to be honorable in life. Now, let's say you have an anger and resentment towards some. That's against, you don't want to be walking around with that because you're upset all the time. And you're damaging yourself. People who have prolonged or chronic anger have greater rates of heart attacks and strokes, cardiovascular events. It's not fair to you to be carrying that anger. You're damaging yourself. Remember, honor involves not causing harm to others and not to yourself. So one of the commands of honor is, I wish you well. So you're getting this negative thought about the person, and you go, I wish you well. So you're speaking some light into that darkness. I wish you well. Now, I'm not saying that the anger will go away. No, but you're speaking a little light into that darkness, and when you keep doing that consistently, the angry thoughts come less often with less intensity and less duration. Let's say you're walking around and you're so angry at somebody, you're blaming them what they did to you, and you just feel like you're a victim. So you're angry. And it's damaging you. You can't sleep at night because you can hardly eat, and you're so upset. But one of the commands of honor is, I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality, my problem. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality, my problems. You say, well, how did I co-create some of this? Not totally a victim. I added fuel to the fire by doing this. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not even going to feel guilty. But, I'll apologize. Hey, I want you to know we're having this issue. I want you to know I apologize for my part. I added fuel to the fire. I apologize. Or I apologize, please forgive me. Not that the person will apologize back, but you followed the way of honor. You cleared that out of yourself. You're wishing the person well. You're taking responsibility because it's for you. It's for you. You're overcoming that weakness and you're giving yourself life because that resentment, that blaming is death. It's a darkness. It's a cloud over your eyes. You're not going to be really present with that over you. It's not going to happen. If you have clear vision and have light, you have to be able to go beyond that. So this is one way to overcome that kind of a weakness. Now, one of the commands of honor is God, your wish is my only wish. Or if they don't believe in God, you don't want to address God, I seek always to serve my highest values. So you've got resentments, upsetness with people, and God wants you to love that person as one of your brothers and sisters from the human family. So you're going, I wish you well, I love you. I don't like what you did, but I love you. So you're saying that to yourself, and that speaks light into the darkness even more. You're following your highest values. You're following what God wants you to do. Now, one of the commands of honor is, fourth one, I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. So when that's happening, you're in a situation, something really bad happens to you, and you're devastated. Somebody betrayed you, or there's an illness, medical situation, a legal situation. So I know it's going to make me stronger. I know it's going to increase my wisdom, my compassion, because you can't really achieve wisdom without suffering. That's a fact. If you just had an easy life and you never suffered, you might feel that's nice, but you won't achieve wisdom. That won't be one of the things you'll have. Grateful for the power I gave from hardship. So instead of being just devastated, you're also saying, well, I'm devastated, but it's making me a stronger person. And you've all seen that. You've all seen how you have hardship in your life. You dealt with it. You look back and you go, it made a better person of me. In some way, it made a better, stronger person. So you're turning the whining, complaining, victim mentality into a victory, transforming tribulation into triumph. You're overcoming a weakness. That's a weakness. A derivative of that command of honor is, what's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? So you look at what happened, say, this is awful, and I'm sure it is. Not saying it's not, we're not denying it. They say, but what's the best true story? What's something that came out of that? Well, this happened, but because of that, so you got fired from a job, it was awful and unfair. But you know what? Getting time with my wife, getting time with the kids, I'm really finding something that's more interesting to me, more satisfying as I look around the job market. This was the best thing that could have happened to me. Getting fired, the loss was real, but in every loss, there's a gain. What's the best true story I can tell myself about this situation? So I'm telling you in these ways, the best ways to deal with your weaknesses, the best ways for me to deal with my weaknesses. Let me tell you, I'm a very strong guy in every way. There's no question I'm a very weak man in certain ways. No doubt in my mind. I've failed enough times to know. But I always say that the path to success is paved with failure. Path to success is paved with failures. So just knowing that, you're moving forward, you're going to, there's a best true story to be told. Babe Ruth, every time, and he was the home run king in his time, every time he struck out, he would say, I'm one step closer to my next home run. Every time he struck out, he said, I'm one step closer to my next home run. And he was a home run king, long time. Now, when you are failing, well, you're going against your values in terms of financially doing things wrong, or sexually doing things wrong, or eating or drinking or smoking. You don't want to be doing it. And if you believe in God, you say this to yourself 3 times a day. God forgives me and I forgive myself. God forgives me and I forgive myself. You don't believe in God, then you just say, I forgive myself. If you're unable to forgive yourself, you go, I want to forgive myself. God forgives me and I want to forgive myself. Either way, believe in God, not believe in God, there's room for all of us, believer and non-believer. So, that doesn't mean you want to keep going on with it. It just means right now we're stuck in something that we want to get out of, but we're trapped in a situation of wrongdoing, of damaging ourselves or damaging others. But there's a plan to go beyond it. And we want to forgive ourselves in the meantime. But we want to admit that it's wrong. We want to admit that to ourselves. The key is not to justify our wrongdoing. Not to justify that we're damaging ourselves, but damaging other people. That's key. And most people cannot do that. They will justify every wrong they've done. Somebody smoking says, well, I want to enjoy my life. We only live once. I'm going to drink and smoke and eat all this bad stuff because you only live once. And when I tell those people, yeah, you only live once. You want to enjoy it. I understand. But you're not necessarily going to like how you do it. If you just drop dead suddenly, well, God bless you. That's a good way out. But many people, it's a slow way out. We become a burden to your family, society, the hospitals, and painful on the way out. So I've seen it where people, once they hit that, they say, was it worth it? The pleasure you had? Nobody says, yeah, it was worth it. Nobody said, nah, shouldn't have done it. I was stupid. But they justified, oh, no, I enjoy it. And nobody's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to drink. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to live my way. Oh, heck no. You're not going to control me. Oh, I'm going to do it my way. Okay. See, people justify. I've justified my wrongs and you've justified your wrongs. But you know what? I've gone through certain things in my life. I don't lie to myself anymore. I don't believe my own rationalizations. Say, this is wrong. I've got to get past this as soon as possible. I'm at that point in my life. I was younger. No, I had my rationalizations, and I would tell myself over and over again to justify what I did. And I know you do that. And your loved ones are doing that too. You have to face clearly what you're doing wrong, how you're violating yourself, how you're violating others, how you're violating your own code of honor. And once you face it, doesn't mean you stop suddenly. You make a plan to get away from those thoughts, those words, those actions. Well, it's certainly been my pleasure to present you best ways to deal with your weaknesses. And certainly I've walked the walk on this. And it doesn't stop. All my life I had to overcome weaknesses. In 84, I'm still doing it. Doesn't stop. As long as we're on earth, as long as we have a human body, we have those weaknesses. And you want to face it. Don't deny it. That's a step, a big step. The awareness of it, acknowledging it to ourselves. I'm not saying you got to acknowledge it to other people. It's up to you. Acknowledge it to yourself. Got to get past this. Here's my plan. What I'm telling you is very valuable for you. What I want to do now is open it up to our wonderful audience, lovely, deep people that I have the privilege to know and serve. And keep in mind, when you speak up, it's as helpful to the other people here, as helpful as when I speak. It may be more helpful because when people hear what you say, they don't feel so alone. They feel part of a wonderful community.
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, this is Marquez.
Marquez, good to hear from you, Marquez.
Yeah, one of the things I just wanted to bring up is, when it comes to, I guess, just bad habits or, things that people are trying to improve on, one thing people tend to do is, is sometimes slip and continue to free fall, right? It's okay to, fall back or make a mistake, but you just kind of have to acknowledge it and, keep trying to improve. I think people beat themselves up over maybe falling off the wagon in some sort of way, and then it just kind of ends up being a slippery slope from there.
Marquez, let me say this. Let me build on what you're saying. You're going to slip. I'm going to slip. We have weaknesses, vulnerable points where we'll put honor secondary to whatever. I understand that. As Marquez says, and I've been saying to you, you want to say, okay, I'm in a free fall. I recognize this. I can't help myself right now, but I'm going to get back on the wagon. I'm going to get back up. Not today, maybe next week. I recognize what I'm doing, and I'm going to be looking for a way out of this. Look for a way to correct it. And then you'll start seeing ways out, but you at least have a desire to go beyond what you're stuck in. There's an ancient Persian poem, author unknown. Make no search for water, but find thirst, and water from the very ground will burst. So once you have that thirst to say, I got to escape this, it's killing me. So you're thirsty for a way out, it'll come. Like water coming from the ground, the thirst will make that water appear. The way will be found because that thirst, that desire to go beyond these shortcomings, these weaknesses, is a prayer. It's like a prayer. It's like a blade of grass thirsty in the wilderness, thirsty. That thirst is a prayer for rain. So you're praying for the outpourings of mercy and grace of God by saying, I'm suffering. I need a way out. I don't know where to go. Wow, that's beautiful. When people tell me, Doc, I'm lost, I don't know how to get out of this situation, I go, wow, that's great. That's great. Because once you say you're lost and you want a way out, I know it's coming. I might be able to make a suggestion, I often do, but it will come to you in ways that you never expected. It will come. It's a big thing. I'm lost. I need a way out of this. I'm suffering so badly. Please help me. Beautiful. And I don't feel sorry for people in that situation. I feel so much respect. I admire people who can say that. Some people are too proud. They don't want to admit that. You meet people who never acknowledge they struggle, suffer, don't have that. But once the people are brought to their knees, that's beautiful. Now, my patients who come to see me are the most beautiful people. They're all saying, Doc, my life's not working. I need help. I can't stand what's going on at work. I'm burned out. I'm getting angry. I'm so depressed, anxious. I get panic attacks. I'm having problems with my significant other. And I go, wow, this person's hungry. This person's thirsty. I can do something for this wonderful human being. Because the person was humble enough to say, I need help. And that opens up my heart. And it just floods out. Because of their thirst, just pours out of me the wisdom, the way of honor. And I say things, I don't even know where it comes from. It's not like I studied it or had it memorized. It just pours out. That's why I'm so grateful to my beautiful patients that come to see me and the rapport and the amazing things we do together. What beautiful struggles, and see people overcome these things. It's like, wow. People thank me for helping them, but the truth is, I feel so inspired by the people who come to see me. I go, wow, this what a beautiful situation. I'm 84. People say you're going to retire. Why would I retire? Why would I retire? There's nothing better to do in this world than what I'm doing for me. Very good, Marquez. Is there anything else you want to say, or anybody else wants to ask a question or make a comment? Thank you for that.
Dr. Nerenberg, it's Claudia.
Claudia, very good to hear from you, Claudia.
Thank you, Doctor. I know one of my weaknesses is being able to trust people, and I had a shortcoming today. I definitely did not act as a disciple of honor, and I snapped at someone because I felt that they were being disingenuous. And I know that it's because I have that weakness of not trusting?
Well, firstly, it came out of a good motive. You respect and value honor and being honest, being sincere, being genuine. You value that. So you were really angry at just witnessing a falseness.
Right.
So that's okay. But then you took it out on that person and you said, gee, I wish I didn't. So if you ever get to see that person again, or you want to send them a text, hey, I acted this way, I snapped at you, I apologize, please forgive me. And you might go, that be an honorable way to deal with that.
Right.
I repeat what I call the laws of honor, because there's 4 commands of honor, the bridge, which is what's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do. And if I put that to you, what's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? Would you say the most honorable thing to say and do is to text that person or apologize?
Right. No, and of course, and I did apologize, but I know it was a half-hearted apology, and in my anger, I pretty much called the person. Not pretty much. I did call the person a hypocrite, and I know I shouldn't have done that, but it was just so enraging in me, and it's been building up for a long time. So I think today,
Claudia, let me tell you something. We're all hypocrites some of the time. Here I teach the way of honor, which I mostly live. Once in a while I slip. And of course, my wife says, well, you teach people about honor. Look what you just did. You're a hypocrite. I say, okay, sweetheart, you're right. I apologize. Please forgive me. So I become a hypocrite once in a while. I slip. I say, okay, you're right. I apologize. Forgive me. I didn't follow my own teaching. It doesn't happen often. And my wife's an amazing human being, just totally amazing. But she'll call me out. I go, wow. Now, I want to tell you, once you tell people you're following the way of honor, you slip, it's going to get thrown in your face, just like my wife will do it to me. But as long as you're willing to back up and say, wait a minute, you're right, I apologize, you're good to go.
Right.
So being a disciple of honor does not mean we're perfect. It just means we're committed to that path, and we say, I apologize. Now, some of the laws of honor, which I call the laws of humility, I apologize. I was wrong. You were right. I'll never do it again. Please forgive me. I have not always lived with honor, but I will die with honor. I recite that often to myself. Why? Because I always want to be ready to go there. In my younger years, it was very hard to apologize. My pride stood in the way. But now that I do this to myself, I can go right there. Boom. Yeah, I apologize. I was wrong. I apologize. Please forgive me. I can go right there. Not hard.
Mr. Nerenberg.
Now, let me just finish up with Claudia, and then I want to come to you.
I'm here.
Okay, Claudia, thank you for saying that. Look how sincere you are. You gave a half-hearted apology. But let me tell you something. A half-hearted apology is better than no apology. You can go back and give a more full-hearted one if you want. But half-hearted is a good start, really good start. And I congratulate you for that.
Thank you, Dr. Nerenberg.
Yeah. Now, somebody else had, let me guess.
It's Julie
Julie.
Rodriguez.
Yes, Julie.
I appreciate Claudia's, but the way that she was speaking about that means that she had a lot of background with the people, right?
Exactly.
So I'm
exactly.
With my family, I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so I have to take care of a lot of feelings. And when my mother, who's 71 years old, my weakness is my family. So I do all the disciples of honor, but my weakness is my mother. She's all I have. And when people are disrespecting her.
Well, getting angry at somebody disrespecting your mother, no, there's nothing wrong with getting upset with somebody disrespecting your mother. I wouldn't call that a weakness. I think protecting anybody from disrespect or injustice is not a weakness. That's a virtue. So, it's a virtue that you're standing up and you try to neutralize it without trying to. You try not to cause harm, but you try to neutralize it. So that's admirable that you're protecting somebody else. I don't see that as a weakness. I see that as virtuous.
Okay, well then thank you for clarifying that. But when Claudia was speaking, I understand, if she, stood up for herself and, I just, sometimes people in our lives, they just don't act right.
Oh, no, listen, Julie, let me interrupt you.
We have to be the people that tell them, knock it off today.
Listen, let me tell you something. Not sometimes people don't act right. It's happening all the time. Firstly, people do a lot of beautiful things all the time. We don't say much about it. It doesn't make the headlines, doesn't get in the news. But there's so much beautiful things and goodness going on in our world. However, there's also a lot of wrong, betrayal, disappointments, things that people are doing that they shouldn't do. Absolutely. Now, if it's your child, you say, well, hey, knock that off. I love you, but you're going to be punished for that. If it's somebody else going on, you might say, knock it off. Or you could say, when you do that, I feel hurt. I appreciate if you do that. Or you know what? I talk to you respectfully. I appreciate if you talk to me respectfully. So there's a difference between real and being respectfully real. So respectfully real might go, instead of, you might want to say to somebody being real, hey, I think you're stupid and you're dumb or what you did was horrible. I don't want anything to do with it. You're just being real, bro. Well, that's real. Don't be real. Be respectfully real. Might go like this, hey, bro, when you said what you did hurt my feelings. As a matter of fact, I felt humiliated. If you could find it in your heart to apologize, I'd be grateful. That builds a bridge or connection. That's respectfully real communication. The way of honor demands that we speak in a respectfully real manner. So you have the right to be who you really are. We all have that right to be our true selves, but the expression of the true self must be in a respectfully real manner. So we say it as respectfully as we can, with as much love and kindness as we can. And then it's okay to say whatever. You feel that somebody is being hypocritical. You might say, listen, I respect you. And when you say that way, I get a little confused because I get this feeling, that feeling. But hey, I love you. I respect you. But I'm confused by what I'm picking up. I mean, that would be, a more respectfully real way of doing it. But God bless you that you're so devoted to your mother. God bless you for that. And that's a beautiful thing. Nothing but respect. Thank you for that. Thank you. You're most welcome.
Hey, Doc.
Yes.
This is Antonio Cobos.
Antonio, pleasure to hear from you, Antonio.
How you doing? I just spoke to you yesterday.
Yes, Antonio.
Very good conversation. I really appreciate it.
Always.
Thank you so much. And I loved your message today. It was amazing. It was great. I love it. Now, my question is, I really feel for these ladies and everybody that have been calling you and tell you all these things. I really, really familiarize with all these things. Because life is hard. Life is hard, and then we got to deal with it. And then we do the best we can. We got children, we have, family members, and we care about. And it's hard, how life it is, you know what I mean? But we got to keep going, right, boss?
Well, Chief, I'll tell you this. You call me boss, I will call you Chief. Listen, the truth of the matter is life is hard and it's a struggle. And what's crazy about it, nobody ever told us that. Nobody ever said it gets that hard, that struggle, that much pain. Nobody told us also how beautiful life is. So we were shielded from that. We weren't given the proper preparation. So people are shocked when they run into it. As you know, this is nothing new. Thousands of years ago, life was hard, difficult. It is now and always will be. It's the nature of the human existence, the struggle for survival. Now, as we move to a more spiritual way of being, a kinder way, a more loving way, a more honorable way, it'll reduce a lot of the suffering. Now, just so you know about suffering, I'm going to be totally honest with all of you. 99.9% of my suffering, and I've suffered a lot, I caused to myself.
Mm-hmm.
My health problems, I caused to myself. I was eating all the wrong things. I had a heart attack. I was drinking too much milk and having dairy products, which causes prostate cancer. I had prostate cancer. The issues I've had with people and my suffering I've co-created. I'm not saying I was guilty of the whole thing. So just so you know, to be honest with you, I practically have never been a victim. Never. And most of you have not either. Now, if you're walking down the street and there's a drive-by shooting, somebody shoots you, well, that's a victim. But most of us mortals, we look at the suffering, we could see we co-created. Let me give you an example. Somebody stabs you. They say something. By that I mean they say something nasty, hurts you, humiliates you. What do most people do? They take the knife and go like that. They think about it, go over it. They go there. Instead of saying, I wish you well, I forgive you, and I understand I co-created this, and so the knife falls out. Most people take the knife and go like that for days, months, years, whatever. I've done that. I know you've done it. You may not recognize it, but I know that I'm not that much different than you. I know I'm not that much different than you. Not at all. I co-created my suffering. I know you co-created 99% of your own suffering. So we take responsibility. So I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. And I'm overreacting. People do things. Now, one of the laws of honor is it's not about me, nothing personal. Not about me, nothing personal. Somebody's been nasty, rude. You can't help reacting, but at the same time, you go, oh, it's not about me, it's nothing personal. This person just, it's that way with everybody. You have some supervisors that really pick up some of the employees. I talk to the person, they say, this person was so rude to me, so disrespectful. It's really hard to take. I understand why they had to get time out. I understand it. It's justified. At the same time, I say typically, listen, people like that, they have a history of bloodbaths. They've done it to many other people and they'll do it again to others. So any way you can bring that to the attention of the higher-ups, you want to do it to protect not only yourself and others, but just know, in most cases, it's not personal. Once in a while it is. Most cases, we're taking things personal. That's not. That's just the guy. That's how the person is. They're just nasty people. Right? Most people deal with the pain they carry by inflicting pain on you. So if they inflict the pain on you, they feel momentarily better. They pass the pain on. They don't know how to transform it into a positive energy. But the way of honor, we know how to transform that negativity into positive energy. We know how to do it. That person doesn't know how to. So when you say life is hard, yes, 100%. And one of the reasons it's hard is what we do to ourselves. What I did to myself. Absolutely. What I've done to myself caused me a lot of trouble. And if you really look closely at yourselves, you'll see you cause yourself a lot of trouble. I know you're a troublemaker, every one of you. I'm a troublemaker. I've caused myself a lot of trouble unnecessarily, maybe unknowingly, out of ignorance, or my lower nature. What can I say? So when you walk the path of honor, you don't cause yourself as much trouble. And my goal for all of you is not only to help you now at this point in your life. My goal is when you're 95, 100 years old, for you to say, Dr. Nerenberg, I've lived a life of honor and I have no regrets. That's the best you can hope for. Is look back at your life and say, I have no regrets. That's the best you can hope for. You're not going to be able to look back in your life and say, you know what? It was easy. I had no problems. You're never going to know. Nobody can say that. Hey, I had an easy life, no problems. What a sweet thing. I'm 100 years old. And man, it was a joyride, the whole thing, every moment. Well, come on. You're not going to say that. The best you can say is, I've lived a life of honor and I have no regrets.
Thank you, Doc.
Well, thank you for bringing this up.
Thank you, Doc.
You're most welcome. Who else has something you want to ask or say?
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, this is John.
John, always good to hear from you, John.
You too, sir. Congrats on your 1001 video.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. You reminded me at the beginning of the session. I wrote down 1001, yeah.
And thank you so much for your talk this evening, sir. And I loved everything about it. I just wanted to personally say thank you so much for this past week with our text messages back and forth. Like we talked earlier, we all fall off a little bit, but it's always good to remember to get back on and keep moving. And sometimes it's hard to explain that to ourselves.
Okay, John, dear John, it's such a wonderful thing always to hear from you. And I enjoy our texts, and you inspire me. I'm glad that you text me and tell me the things you tell me. Let me tell you this. When you say we all fall off a little bit once in a while, I fall off more than a little bit. And I get back up. I mean, I have a plan to come up, and I do it. And I'm totally committed to the way of honor. But I have my weaknesses. So I come up. I have a plan to come up, and I do that. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And sometimes it takes a while to come back up. And I don't beat myself up, or sometimes I feel a little guilty. I'll say, God forgives me. I forgive myself. And sometimes you just got to live with the wrongness that we do in life and have a plan to get through it and above it. And I'm telling you this thing because I don't want to give you a wrong idea of what human beings, what it's like. Yeah, that we're going to have times of failing, and then we want to make a plan right away how we're going to get above it. And we may not be able to get above it in a day or a week, whatever. It may take a while. So I want to tell you that because I don't want you to have an unrealistic idea what it is. Thank you, John, so much for that.
Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome, as always, John. Thank you. Who else has something?
Dr. Nerenberg?
Yes.
Hi, this is Carrie.
Carrie, welcome.
There's a lot of different directions to take with the weakness, but I just wanted to say that repeating the 4 commandments may seem like it's not going to be effective, but it really is, because when as you listen to your other presentations, it seeps in that, like you said, most of your pain and anger, feeling that you're being wrong, it's really what's living in you, and the people that you feel the emotions towards have either no clue or could care less. So they are, living in you for free, and you're the one that's just dealing with all this negative.
Very well said. Very well said.
So releasing, the I wish you well to me is one of the hardest things, because in the beginning I thought if I wish them well, that means that I say it's okay, that what they did was fine, but it's not. It's I wish you well, because that to me, it's like, I wish you find a way to be a better person.
That's it. That's it.
And that's it. Right. And I release you from the weight that you are currently having on me. Like I'm cutting it, I'm severing it so that you're no longer weighing me down and you don't have that control over me anymore.
Wow. So that's so profound.
It's very liberating.
The way you said it is exactly right. Exactly right. You liberate yourself from oppressing yourself. You liberate yourself from oppressing yourself. That's what I mean. Somebody stabs you emotionally, and then people take the knife and go like that. When we go, I wish you well, that's an important step. It's not, it may take repeatedly repeating I wish you well to stop that kind of self-damage going on. Very well said. Very, very true. 100%. Thank you for that.
Thank you for all that. I mean, I'm almost done with all your videos, but even the road rage, which I don't think I have a whole lot of, I'm even better in that department. It's like, this guy probably has diarrhea, or
he might have lost
probably left the stove on, and then, like you said, do your 10 seconds and
I refuse.
Then it's gone.
I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. You don't want to give that control to that person. And
exactly.
I wish you well. And people who are hungry or they're going through a divorce, they got fired from a job, they're more prone to going into road rage. And I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. I wish you well. That's the cure for it. I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. I spent years finding the cure. That is the cure. Because they say, well, it's wrong to get angry at them. It's wrong to retaliate. But that won't stop most people. But once you say, do you want to give them control over you like that? Everybody says, no, I don't want to give that person control. That person's an idiot. I'm not going to give that idiot control over me. I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. I found that was the cure. It took me years to find that. Giving people good advice, how you're creating danger and it's wrong, it has practically no effect on most people. But this one, I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever, really helps in overcoming road rage. But thank you for that. Thank you for that wonderful input. Wonderful. Who else has something you'd like to ask or say?
Doc, this is Robert. How are you doing today?
Ricardo, is that you? Okay.
It's Robert.
Oh, Robert. There you are. Robert in San Diego. Big Robert. Okay, brother. Let's hear what you have to say.
Doing?
Good.
So, it was kind of an epiphany a little bit today, just sometimes how much we overwhelm ourselves. And I kind of had an epiphany on that as an example is, we have important days. We always have important days during the week and whatnot of certain events or times. Like today's example, this time is a good time every week. We know it's standard. But I've noticed that I had a pattern of loading up days that or have important times or appointments, and then almost making that day impossible to keep anything going smoothly, where it's either just too much and then it causes anxiety or causes stress. And we just need to learn to keep our days where it's really manageable. And, sometimes we have to tell people no. It's like when we have certain things, instead of trying to squeeze in like, I got that extra hour and squeeze that in. Sometimes it's just not worth it. And we have to learn to say no and learn to understand that we need to manage our time better.
Well,
so
that's a good, Robert. That's a perfect, after making a plan, saying I'm overwhelming myself. I've been doing this day, week in and week out. I'm scheduling too much on a given day, and then finding some way to reschedule, to have a different way of scheduling. There's no question about it that's a way to overcome the mistake of overloading the day. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed that way, of trying to get too much done in a day, being exhausted from it, get irritable from it, start overreacting from it, feel anxious, maybe get panic attacks from it. That's an excellent point, Robert. Excellent. Thank you. And we do that to ourselves. That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Robert. Excellent. Thank you. Well, it's been my pleasure and my privilege to be here with you and to present the best ways to deal with your weaknesses.